Despite the differences between Christianity, Judaism and Islam, they do have one big thing in common. They all take the physical, material world, the universe in which we live day by day, very seriously indeed. It's solidly there. What we can taste, touch, see and handle, that's all more real than anything else. But across the other side of the world, in Asia, religious thinkers and philosophers tended to take a very different approach. They looked at the solidity of the world out there as really an illusion. They said that if you became too obsessed with the everyday experiences of living, you'd never be a truly spiritual person. This world isn't a good place to be. In fact, we're all doomed to come back for life after life, reincarnating again and again, fated to experience more sorrow and heartbreak until we finally become so spiritual that we don't come back again. Hindu sages called this world the sphere of Maya, illusion, and they suggested lots of ways to find an escape route out of it. That's why there are lots of gods in Hinduism, lots of forms of yoga, lots of sacrifices and scriptures and techniques and practices. There isn't one way to achieve bliss. There are many routes possible, but they all involve personal discipline and they're all likely to take several lifetimes before you finally make it. About 500 years before Jesus, the Lord Gautama Buddha was born into a Hindu family. He wanted to find a way of dealing with the suffering of life and discover spiritual liberation, but it all seemed incredibly confusing. He set out to find one middle way, which was reliable, effective, and made sense of everything else. So he discarded a lot of traditional ideas and simplified the kernel of his teaching down to 4 noble truths and an 8-fold path to follow. Now, sometimes people claim that Buddhism is an atheist religion because he also disposed of the gods. He didn't, in fact. But he did emphasise strongly that if the gods exist, they are also part of the whole system, not superpowers who stand outside it and can help you beat the system. You have to do it by yourself. No supernatural being can take you where you need to go. What would Jesus have made of all this? Well, first, he didn't see the world as an illusion. It was created by God and it showed his handiwork everywhere. See how the flowers of the field grow, he said. They do not labour or spin, and yet not even Solomon in all his splendour was dressed like one of these. And if that's how God clothes the grass of the field, will he not much more clothe you? God wasn't uninvolved in the day-to-day world. He took it very seriously. Second, Jesus saw history as a line progressing somewhere rather than a hopeless, endless cycle. There was a point to it. We didn't just revolve around incarnation after incarnation, bound for many lifetimes to a remorseless programme of sadness and heartbreak. God had broken into history when Jesus had come to this earth. His death and resurrection would break the hold of sin and death upon humanity. Now, life really could go somewhere. Jesus would have sympathised with the devoted Hindu search for spirituality, and he'd have found Buddhism very commendable in many, many ways. But his message would have been, you don't have to do it by yourself. God is ready to be your friend, and I died so that you can know me. Without me, you can do nothing. To Hindus, he would say, I'm the way, the truth and the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He'd admire the earnest behaviour and tremendous philosophical ideas. But he would insist that there weren't many ways to God, just one. And he would invite them to trust him too.